let's look at Reb's video and just see how cooked Mizkif is right now. Because if this is his demon mode, I'm sorry, is this a demon from what the fuck's it called? The devil's daughter running the hotel. Yeah, is demon time like the demons from Hasbin Hotel or what? Because the very idea of him filing a defamation lawsuit is just fucking hilarious. So let's look.
Hey, what's up, guys? Riff here. So today we have some very big updates regarding the Emiru and Mizkif situation. It appears that some new parties have been dragged into this situation, and the results of this are going to be, at the very least, chaotic, and I also know probably
hilarious,
very entertaining, and it's going to provide a lot of content for me and many others over the coming months, if not years. So before we get into the new stuff, quick recap of events. So the popular streamer...
Well, okay, Heckle, to your question, Mizkif does have money. Mizkif does have money. He's built up quite a tidy little sum of money over his years of streaming. He's not, he's not poor. He's not like, with where we saw it with like Denims and Frogan and Casey Tron, where they literally had to do GoFundMe's for this lawsuit. Mizkif is he's pretty rich. Okay, Mizkif is, as I understand it, he's pretty rich. He's built up a lot of money. Even though he's fallen off drastically, he still has quite a bit of money. So my guess is he probably can't afford to file a lawsuit like this.
Emiru recently came out with a stream and an accompanying YouTube video where she made some very serious allegations against the streamer Mizkif, accusing him of essay, of attempting to blackmail her, harassments, even in some cases driving 150 miles an hour down the highway with her.
And by the way, I don't believe Emmy is the only one to have said this about Mizkif. I believe there was another streamer. I could be wrong about this, so don't quote me on this. I believe it was Maya that also said that when she was in the car with Mizkif, when they would fight, like, she would not allow him to drive in the car because every time they got into a fight in the car, he would just floor it and they'd go over 100 and scare the shit out of her that she was going to die. And so she stopped letting Mizkif drive the car because of that reason. I believe that was Maya, but again, don't quote me on it. I could be mistaken about who this is I'm thinking of.
Stuck in the passenger seat because he wanted to end his life because he didn't get a Mr. Beast collaboration, a bunch of really serious stuff, and Mizkif shortly after would make a stream responding where
it's
he,
demon
ironically
mode,
enough,
or
as
demon
we'll see
time,
in just a second with today's updates, pretty much confirms the vast majority of the things she said, but his response was, number one, you didn't feed your bunnies well, and number two, she threw plushies at me.
And by the way, his evidence for she didn't treat her bunnies well was to literally just show an empty cage with no context. He showed an empty cage. Thank you, Kino King. I got to turn those off. Thank you, Kino King. Yeah, his evidence was an empty bunny cage, an empty, dirty bunny cage with no context. And just said, see, she treats her bunnies like shit.
Yes, that was his real defense to everything. Sometimes she would throw plushies at him. Yeah, not great.
Yes. Oh, God. Let me get out of the way so you guys can see this. Chat, I pointed this out on Twitter. Look at the size of Reb's glasses. I pointed this out on Twitter. His glasses used to be half this size probably about a week or so ago. And look at how big the glasses have gotten. I tweeted this. I put this out in tweet like, Rev, you doing okay? You got a little bit of a gross thing going on here. And chat, I actually got a response from Darlie Straub. his Rab's wife actually responded to my tweet with big ol' oh eyes. It was really cute. It was so cute that she responded to it.
But of course, this is something that was a part of his going nuclear, because apparently at TwitchCon he talked to someone on Emiru's team and he said he's going to drop some nukes on her and go nuclear if she does anything publicly involving this situation. And apparently that involves a lawsuit now that she's actually made the statements. You can see he's changed his
Still
bio
owner
on
now
Twitter.
in
He removed
lawsuits?
all of his major sponsors and he says still owner now in lawsuits. So this is actually something that
Hey.
Emiru predicted in her video where she talked about the allegations against Mizkif.
And I also wanted to say that I would not be surprised if he tries to sue me for the stream that I did today and for coming out about him. Not because he thinks that he would win, but for PR reasons, like a slap lawsuit.
Which, by the way, Annie's lawyers already know this. Like, bearing in mind, when Annie did this stream, she talked to her lawyers first. She said from the jump of the stream, when she first started it, that she had already been in consultation with her lawyers, and what she was going to talk about on this stream was what her lawyers gave the okay for, which means her lawyers were already prepared for Miz to throw a slap lawsuit of some kind at her. They already know, they're already prepared, and the thing is, I don't know if Mizkif realizes the Pandora's box he just opened. Because, bearing in mind, Mizkif is bringing a defamation lawsuit against Emmy and Asmongold, both of whom can probably have much better lawyers than her, given the fact that Mizkif said what he said on stream, basically admitting to everything live on stream, which any lawyer would have told him, shut the fuck up. And so Annie and probably Asmongold's lawyers are probably already ready and waiting. They were probably waiting for to get served with the lawsuit papers. Because the funny part is, Mizkif is going to get eviscerated on discovery. Because one of the first things that Annie and Asmon's lawyers are going to do is they're going to file motions for discovery, and they are going to get all the dirt on Mizkif, which I don't know if he was either he's got a really shitty lawyer that didn't explain this to him, or he said, I don't care, fuck it, we ball. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Do it. And doesn't realize the Pandora's box that he's going to open with this lawsuit. Like, all of his dirty laundry is going to get aired out to the courts and possibly to the world. You're going to have character witnesses on behalf of Annie and Asmon coming out of the fucking woodwork, talking about things that Mizkif has done to establish a pattern of abusive behavior. All the live streams where he is acting abusively or acting like terrorizing Annie that have already been coming out, that have already been being broadcast, that's going to start getting introduced into evidence in any court case in terms of discovery motions. Like, I don't think Mizkif appreciates just how fucked he is by doing this.
It'd be interesting if that happened, and I wouldn't be opposed to people finding out more of the truth and things that I didn't even talk about
yes,
today.
Annex, absolutely.
And what else he's been lying about. And I'm sure there's also plenty of things that even I don't know about.
Yeah, this was very predictable. I think a guy like Mizkif and his history of behavior, this was going to be his response, even if it's going to destroy him in the process. He wants to control the narrative, and his ego's been wounded, and he's going to respond accordingly.
The problem is he won't control the narrative. That's the problem. If Rev is right and Mizkif is doing this as some kind of effort to control the narrative, he's not going to. He won't be able to control the narrative because Annie has already made her statement. She is a 1,000 times more believable than Mizkif. And forget about Asmongold. Do you really think Asmongold is going to allow Mizkif to control the narrative? Really? You're gonna try and control the Roach King's narrative? Are you fucking high, dude? It's never gonna happen. Well, Tornado, maybe he's trying to sue Emmy to shut her up. The problem is, even if Emmy does silence, Emmy is a sweetheart, and I could actually see her clamming up, following, her lawyer's advice and not talking about it to let it play out in court because she's not, she's not trying to start shit. I could see Emmy being quiet because that, for all those reasons. You really think Asmongold's going to be quiet about it? Do you really think you're going to be able to silence Asmongold? Even with his lawyers, Asmongold, even if his lawyers tell him you can't talk about this, you can't talk about this, Asmongold is still going to control the narrative. He will be careful with his words. He will be careful with his language when he talks about it, but 100% he will still talk about it and he will control the narrative. And that's before, yes, Moss, that's where I was going. And before anybody forgets, there's a third party here that didn't get sued, that is just as knowledgeable and has just as big of a voice, and that's Tectone. Tectone has a great deal of knowledge about this situation as well, and he's already started to talk about it. He's already started to talk about it. So even if Asmongold has to pull back a little bit under advice from his lawyers, Tectone is not involved in the lawsuit whatsoever, and he knows shit, and he has a loud voice also. So, yeah, the chances of Mizkif controlling this narrative are slim to none. And Slim just went on a diet.
Also, this is going to be very, very funny for us and very, very embarrassing for him, most likely, okay? This guy has a history, a well-known reputation in the streaming scene for being an unhinged maniac who says some crazy things both publicly and especially in private. And if this does go to trial, Discovery is going to expose all the relevant communications between Emiru and Mizkif, and I invite that. And Emiru seems...
And Asmongold. It's also going, Discovery, because don't forget, Asmongold is also part of this. So Discovery is not only going to be communications between Emmy and Mizkif, it's going to be communications between Asmongold and Mizkif, Asmongold and Emiru. And, yeah, so it's, again, Pandora's box.
Between Emiru and Mizkif, and I invite that. And Emiru seems to invite that because she seems like she has nothing to hide. She invites this going to trial so she can expose him even further. But let's not stop with the communications between Emiru and Mizkif. Let's add some new parties.
There we go.
Yep.
There we go.
This lawsuit isn't just at Emiru.
Oh, wow. Oh my god, no fucking way. Okay, Emmy and Asmon I know about. He's gonna try and sue OTK, Mythic, and King Gaming, which I'm guessing is the Starforge. Really? He's going to try to go after all of them. Is he insane? Each one of these are especially Mythic.
Yeah, Mizkif is losing everything.
Oh, yeah. Yes, Tornadoes, Alana just signed on with Mythic. That's correct. Why he's going after Mythic and OTK and King Gaming, I don't know. But holy stupid fucking move. See, there's going to be nothing left of him. There will be, going after Emiru and Asmongold is bad enough. They're going after all of the companies that these two are involved in as well. How stupid can you be? Because we must not forget, in civil proceedings, to the victor go the spoils, which also includes lawyers' fees and court costs. So when Mizkif loses, and he will lose, he's going to have to pay for all of their lawyers. And I guarantee you, they do not have cheap lawyers. Oh, this is so fucking stupid of him. Now, I am wondering though, is he going to drop it before it can actually go in front of a judge? That's my question. Because now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if he's going to drop it before it actually goes in front of a judge and basically try and use this as some kind of a publicity stunt. I'm wondering if that is the plan. Because this way he basically acts like he's all righteous and he's drawing attention to himself. Because don't forget, his channel, his stream has been flagging. He's been losing viewership. His viewership has been going down. I can't help but wonder if he's going to basically toss this out before it actually gets in front of a judge, and he's using this to get eyeballs on him so people will come to his stream. And this might be all one big publicity stunt. Which, if it is, I suspect it's going to backfire on him spectacularly. He's got to pay his lawyer, Derek. Correct. Yes, he still has to pay his lawyer if he pulls back on it. But all he's paying his lawyer for right now is just to draw up paperwork. They're not going into court yet, so what he has to pay his lawyer is probably minimal. And if he pulls back before it actually goes to court, then maybe the payment is going to be minimal. And he might be, could he be using this as a means of just like a PR stunt to get eyeballs on him? Because everybody's covering him. All of the news YouTubers are covering him. All big streamers, Tectone, Asmongold, they're talking about him. Is he maybe doing this to try and get eyeballs on him? So, I don't know. That's certainly a possibility, but we're going to have to wait and see. And Mojo, thank you for the subby.
He also included Asmongold, OTK, Mythic Talent, and King Gaming Labs. Yup, he has gone fully nuclear, I guess. He I guess wasn't wrong when he said that. He didn't drop the nukes he promised, but he did drop this lawsuits where he's suing these individuals. And man, very bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it works out for him, because this is going to be very interesting. Imagine the amount of communications. Now we're adding in communications with Asmongold potentially in Discovery, but now also on an organizational level, which could expand into reaches you can't even imagine. So we're going to get some really spicy communications if this does go to trial and there is a discovery process.
Yeah, because Asmongold was talking on his stream yesterday, I think. Maybe it was today, I don't know. That, Mizkif was a real piece of shit when he was in OTK. And I imagine there's going to be a lot of communications with OTK involving Mizkif that upon discovery is all going to come to light. And yes, I don't know if Andrew is part of Mythic as well, but bearing in mind, Andrew is not the one being sued. It's just Mythic, the agency, that's being sued itself. And don't expect Andrew to come come writing in on White Charger because Mythic is getting involved. Because Andrew is a part of Mythic, he will not get involved because of compromising interests. So he may give his opinions, but we may see Andrew back off slightly in talking about this, because if he isn't with Mythic, then he's gonna be probably a bit tight-lipped because the talent agency that he is signed on with is a defendant, and he's not gonna want to fuck their case up. So I don't get too hyped up about this because Mythic has been pulled into this. Just bear in mind, he may be quite reserved in how he addresses this.
That happens. And let's just check in on the comments. The
No, it
initial
does not,
reactions
Tornado.
to this. So, with an Amber Heard picture, in quotes, Your Honor, but the plushies. Amazing. You're going to be seeing this a lot, this meme right here, over the coming months. Your Honor, she threw plushies at me. So true. That is a valid defense.
Yeah.
Well, that's one way to fight being canceled, Your Honor, but the plushies. Mizkif is going to get cooked in Discovery. Absolutely.
Yes, he is.
Bro realizes Asmongold could literally bankrupt him. There's no way he has more cash than the Roach King, which is a point that Tectone would raise as a fellow former OTK member. He says anyone saying Mizkif will sue Asmongold and Emiru and win because Mizkif has more money. First off, doesn't get how the legal system works. And even if it did work that way, one party made millions and burned all of it on expensive cars, steroids, and hair transplants by his own admission, by the way, Mizkif's. The other
Mizkif got a hair transplant? I did not know that. I did not know that.
party has spent less than 1% of what he made on gummy worms and beef jerky. Which part do you think has more money left? Yeah, very true.
Yeah.
Asmongold has been getting roasted. He rage baited everyone again on Twitter recently, where he shared his diet, where it consists of nothing but gummy worms and beef jerky and like sweets. And people, of course, are literally like tearing their hair out who, look for any reason to be mad about him. But yeah, I think Asmongold's pockets run pretty deep at this point.
Oh, yeah. Asmongold doesn't spend money. The house, his house he inherited from his mother. He didn't have to buy the house. And literally all the money that he's made since he started streaming, he's just begged. He doesn't spend money on anything because he doesn't need anything. So at all the money he makes from streaming, he just begs it. And so he is a multi-fucking-millionaire, like umpteen times over that he's been like holding on to for Kirby! Oh, Kirby! What are you doing? Chat! I have seen things. Things you wouldn't believe. I don't know how I'll ever recover. Wait, did Emmy just throw that at me? Emmy! Why are you throwing plushies at me? You're supposed to be throwing them at Mizkif, not me! But yeah, Asmongold, he's been streaming for what, 10 years? 10 plus years? And, he hasn't spent any of the money. He has, multiples of millions in the bank. It's simple logic. And Black Wolf, thank you for the tier 1.
And I would imagine Emiru as well. She seems like also someone who doesn't spend their money frivolously. But let's hear a comment from Legal Mindset.
Here we go.
Of course, is a actual attorney. He says, Mizkif is going to lose this lawsuit so hilariously. I will need to supersize my popcorn for this one. He has opened himself up to complete reputational destruction while suffering the pain of discovery and legal fees. Been traveling, but will review on my next stream, which I and many others will be looking forward to. So, what is going on here is an act of control. I believe that. I think this guy is such a narcissist and he loves controlling the narrative so much that Mizkif will literally tank his reputation further and blow all of his money and even risk losing all of this just to get back at someone who wronged him and someone who's making him look bad publicly. And I want to share this clip.
He's throwing a temper tantrum. He's literally doing a toddler temper tantrum right now. Emmy said something mean about me, so I'm gonna sue her. Meanie. That's what Mizkif is doing right now. He's literally throwing a toddler temper tantrum. It's really sad, honestly.
I made a mistake when I first covered this situation a couple days ago because I forgot to include one clip that I thought was fascinating that shows the level of control this guy desires.
I know I wasn't perfect with my language or tone throughout this entire relationship. I know I wasn't. And I was aggressive at times.
Uh-oh.
In regards to being controlling, I told her many things. I told her to dress older, to stop wearing pajamas, to stop talking about stalkers and schizos as a whole, stop talking about past relationships, and yes, I didn't want her to travel without me. I also said that I didn't want her to hang out with specific people. This is because I didn't want her to get hurt. I didn't want Emmy to get assaulted. I didn't want some man to do something to her when I'm not there, and I wanted to keep her safe. And I know with how my mental was and who I was back then that I didn't do everything right. I know I could have done better, and I'm sorry.
Wow. In that, we got the clothing.
Well, yeah, it because it is Leo. That's why I was looking to see if I can see. I think it's hard for you guys to see, especially with you guys with the chat the way. I think he has a Microsoft Word document up. Hang on. I think he's got a Microsoft Word document up here on his screen right here, because this is him. And I'm pretty sure this is a Microsoft Word document that he's trying to read off of. I don't know. Maybe it's a Google Doc. Maybe it's a Microsoft Doc. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure, yeah. That's why, because you notice his eyes, if you notice, his eyes kept flicking. He was looking to his left to look at his OBS, to look at his chat. And then his eyes, see his eyes are on the other screen. That's where the Microsoft Word doc or the Google Doc or whatever doc is on the other screen. So yeah, he was reading a prepared statement, which I will say is not, in and of itself is not a bad thing. Let's not forget, Emmy read from a prepared statement also. When Emmy did her stream where she laid everything out, she actually had notes. She was actually reading from a prepared statement too. So there's nothing inherently wrong with reading from a prepared statement, because sometimes your mind can get jumbled when you have something important to say, and sometimes you can find yourself getting off track. And so reading from an actual prepared statement in and of itself is not a terrible thing. It's that in and of itself doesn't mean, oh, the person's guilty, they're a piece of shit, whatever. It's some people are not good just speaking about something off the cuff, especially something significant, and so they might write it down and read from it. So there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. However, everything he said, yeah, some of what he said, not great.
I know I could have done better, and I'm sorry.
Wow. In that, we got the clothing of consent. That's a new one to add to the list, right, guys?
Uh-huh.
And also, he's sitting there like, you're going to wear those pajamas on stream, you harlots? Like, this guy, like I said, he definitely has an ego issue. He wants to control everything. And there's some really good points being raised by a lot of people.
Oh.
Here's some of the relevant explanations of why he's doing this.
Okay.
So, Mizkif is seeking damages for reputational harm, lost earnings, and emotional distress. The exact amount of money has not been disclosed.
And by the way, the only thing that matters in the defamation is this. That's the only thing that matters. Reputational harm, not going to matter. Emotional distress, not going to matter. This right here is the only thing in this court that's going to matter. That's it. Yes. He is suing for
emotional damage.
He is. So yeah, now there's this one complaint says no contractual breaches, mythic, and demand. Okay, so he's also saying that, let's see. The complaint asserts that no contractual breaches occurred. Mythic Italian Gaming also claimed breaches, demand. Mizkif owed more than 600,000. Oh. So Mythic and Tin Gaming are saying that Mizkif owes them 600 grand. That's new. Shortly after live stream. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Filing further alleged the Mizkif repeatedly called, or maybe that's Any, called Mizkif an aggressor and abuser during his own live streams, implying accusations to millions of viewers. Mizkif claims these statements are false and have caused significant harm to his reputation and career. Shortly after the live stream, OTK Media, founded by Emmy, or Asmon, one of the two, sent him a termination letter citing the nature of Emiru's allegations and announced it was reclaiming more than 1 million shares of the company stock without compensation, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So, yeah.
So you can see what he's alleging here, that Asmongold repeatedly called Mizkif an aggressor and abuser during his own live streams, amplifying the accusation to millions of viewers. And then Mizkif claims these statements are false and have caused significant harm to his reputation and career. Shortly after the live stream, OTK Media, co-founded by Mizkif, sent him a termination letter citing the nature of the Emiru allegations and announced it was reclaiming more than 1 million shares of company stock without compensation. The complaint asserts that no contractual breaches occurred. Mythic Talent and King Gaming Labs also claimed breaches and demanded Mizkif owed more than 600 clams to Mythic Talent for management fees. Boy, oh boy. These are some interesting allegations, especially since it's leaning all about reputational harm, which is implying that what he's saying, or what's been said about him in the allegations, is not true. But of course, he went live on stream within the day the allegations were made, and he pretty much admitted to, I'd say, almost 90% of the things she said.
And by the way, I will remind you guys, Mizkif went live after he knew that Asmongold had gone offline. He would not go live until Asmon was offline because he didn't want Asmongold to live react to his stream. He was scared of what Asmongold would say live reacting to his stream. So he made absolutely sure that Asmongold was offline before he went live himself.
That's not great. In fact, the only thing he could really do in response was say that she didn't feed her bunnies enough, and even implied Emiru was responsible for ending the life of one of these bunnies, which, again, they lived in the same place, so if he was really that worried, why didn't he intervene in any sort of a meaningful way? But if anything, the person defaming people might be him. And also, like, what are you going to do, man? You going to throw a Kirby at her? Like, this right here is a great meme.
You know, it's just my chap that throws Kirby's at me. Chat, pardon me for one moment. I need to make a notation. Hang on. I have to make myself a note. Please excuse me for one moment. You'll understand tomorrow. Hang on. But I need to make a note. Give me a second. Trust me, you'll get this tomorrow. Okay. There we go. You'll get this tomorrow.
Throwing that lawsuit 150 miles an hour right at Emiru and also Asmongold, OTK, and other parties as well. But let's get back here. Like, what's going on? Like, why these people, who also seem like really dangerous targets for Mizkif, why is he doing this? Well, let's look at the parties involved. Beginning with Emiru, I think this is the most obvious one. And again, she predicted this would happen when she made the allegations. So it's not too surprising. And I think a lot of this has to do with, again, the control narrative and also the fact that she obviously made the allegations. And of course, in the court of law...
Oh, Kirby, oh, baby! Hi, Kirby. Hi, baby. I missed you.
It doesn't matter what the public thinks. If you have a better argument than your opponent, you win. But, you know, if this is a sign of anything, right? A video with nearly 2 million views and it has 103,000 likes versus 1K dislikes. And understand that
Ratio.
Mizkif's community is known for brigading anything negative about him. Like, it is a fact. Everyone knows this. And that was the best they could do. They took it down to a 9.
Yeah, like Mizkif's community is probably just as bad as Hassan's community when it comes to brigading. Possibly even worse. Like, I'm honestly shocked with the shit that I've talked about Mizkif. I'm honestly shocked I haven't gotten brigaded by Mizkif's people. I mean, I guess maybe my voice is just not loud enough. I'm just a little tiny streamer. And, you know, in the YouTube sphere, my viewership is much tinier than anything. So I suppose I shouldn't be surprised. But I was a little surprised I didn't get at least something from his community coming into my stream, coming into my YouTube comments or something, coming in like Twitter, saying something to me. But
knows this. And that was the best they could do. They took it down to a 99% like to dislike ratio. I'm just saying, right now it appears that hearing what we've heard so far, people have made up their mind. Pretty much. And, you know, this whole thing also stems from stuff like this. I don't know if you guys have seen this little side-by-side clip comparison, but Mizkif and Emiru went live at the same time, and he got distraught because her viewer count got higher than him live while they were at, you know, streaming at the same time. And he had a...
Well, this was also the incident when he started punching her door. You guys remember the video footage where Emmy is sitting there playing on her stream, and you can hear him in the background literally punching her door. And every time he does it, she like jumps. You can see her jump, and you can see her trying to hold it together. He like punches her door multiple times, and she's like jumping like with fear every single time until she finally got up and went to go say something to him. And as soon as she came back, she killed stream, or she stopped playing. She stopped playing the game. And yeah, that was this incident because she got double the viewership that he did. He literally went psycho and started like just punching her door and terrifying her.
A breakdown on stream, starts instantly turning toxic the second she passed him in viewers, and eventually went into her room, threw a hissy fit, and slammed the door behind him, and she literally like flinched. Like, it was a very...
multiple times.
Also, I'll add, right around that time, she said she had to go to the bathroom, and a lot of people think she was going out to talk to him or something. It was just a very weird thing, and, you know, it kind of...
Because when she came back after saying, I have to go use the bathroom, when she came back, she's like, okay, I'm going to stop playing the game. I'm not sure if she ended stream at that point, but she at least stopped gaming during the stream when she came back. She said, okay, we're going to go move on to something else when she came back.
Fuels why he's dragging this out. Like, he was acting like this when they were in a relationship and people were choosing her over him. What about now?
Oh yeah, man, Tess, he's admitted everything.
Let's talk about the other party. Of course, Asmongold, and, you know, used to have a connection with OTK. So why him? Well, I think it's because Asmongold has been very hard on Mizkif ever since these allegations came out. In fact, right from the jump, he offered to pay the legal expenses of anyone who wanted to come out and share their story about him.
Yeah, I mean, if anybody has any of that shit that's happened, I mean, they can always contact me, and, you know, like, I can set them up with legal counsel, and I can pay for it. It's not really a big deal. If they want to come out and they're worried about, like, getting sued or something like that, it's not a big deal to me at all.
Fucking based. Right there. And this is why Mizkif has no fucking clue what he just got into. Asmongold on stream made an open promise to anybody that has information on Mizkif that they want to talk about and that they might require legal counsel. He just made an open offer I'll pay for your lawyers. I don't care. It doesn't make a difference to me. It's no big deal. I'll pay for your lawyer. Fucking based right there. Yeah. Mizkif has no fucking clue the Pandora's box that he's opened.
And so, like, yeah, if that's a thing, but I just don't know. I mean, if Arya knows something, I mean, she just let me know. But like, that's it. She's saying like people that got abused or whatever, they didn't have social media or whatever. That's the reason why. Has anyone reached out yet? If they had, I wouldn't have told you. So yeah, it's just like, because it would be a very private thing, assuming that somebody would have reached out. And so I wouldn't say that or do anything, because I think also it makes it about me at that point. And so like, yeah, I would never talk about that for any reason.
Another thing I haven't covered since my previous video about the
fucking
situation,
hell.
Mizkif in his offline chat on Twitch was sharing a bunch of messages, and to sum up this big wall of text, he starts making excuses for his behavior, basically saying that he's been contemplating taking his own life since like 2022, and that since he's lived in LA, he's been doing like a bunch of drugs and steroids and all these things that have messed with his mind.
And this is where the South Park meme came from. Remember I showed you guys the South Park meme where basically Mizkif's name was superimposed over Cartman, and you had Emmys and Asmonds and Estevans and all of the rest of OTK superimposed over everybody else. And there was the whole thing of where they listened to the voicemail from Cartman. He's going, "I'm gonna kill myself if you don't take me back. You gotta take me back. I'm gonna kill myself." That's where this came from. That's where it came from. It came from this shit. This is what caused that meme to be created in the first place.
In his body, and he's had all these issues, and it's only made things worse. And he's been hurting himself in the process, and he has these insane anger issues from the steroids, and yada yada yada. And Asmongold, like many other people, see the timing of this, and it appears that, to Asmongold and other people, that he's trying to use this as bait to get empathy. And he's saying some very serious things, and basically saying, "I'm not responsible. Take pity on me." And basically, how could you be mad at me? I have all these issues.
It's kind of like Kevin Spacey got outed for being like a bad actor, which actually turned out to not be true, by the way. Seemingly, Kevin Spacey's a fine guy, or at least like not a criminal. But
Wait. Okay, side tangent. For off topic, was he found not guilty, or did it come out that the allegations against him were false? I didn't hear about this. I know, I remember there was an allegation that, never got yeah, me neither. Like, the only thing I remember hearing about was, like, someone made an accusation of him, made an accusation against him. It was like the person was, like, underage. There was an allegation, like, he basically SA'd, effectively speaking, someone that was underage, and like, I never heard anything else since. I don't know what the results of the court case were or anything. Acquitted in UK criminal trial and US civil lawsuit in 2023. Okay. I never knew. I never heard it. I never heard the follow-up to that. Like, he got blacklisted in Hollywood when that happened. I honestly don't even think he's worked since. I can't think of a single thing he's done since then. But so he was fully acquitted. Okay, and I'm guessing that it's come out that he didn't do it. Like, okay. Well, I had no idea. I completely lost track of that years ago. 'Cause, Huh. Okay.
But, immediately said, "Oh, I'm gay now," right? Or something like that, right? In order to, like, to do this is like, really, you talk about, "Oh, well, I want to kill myself." Well, what about all the people that you negatively affected? Have you ever thought that maybe they wanted to kill themselves? Maybe you ever think about, like, maybe how that would affect them? No, you don't. You don't think about them because it's all about you. It's all about you. And that's it. No, I never have any, like, whenever a person goes and they do something that negatively affects another person, then my sympathy for that person goes down to zero. Sympathy baiting, yeah. Never let somebody sympathy bait you. This is that people like this are manipulative. They are conniving, manipulative, abusive people that will use your own emotions against you so they can get you while you least expect it. Never do it.
So another party in all of this is OTK, who officially cut ties with Mizkif after the allegations came out, but it appears that they're already kind of like falling out of a relationship already. Like it wasn't really active at that point anyways. But yeah, they came out with a statement.
Yeah, Asmongold, like I watched one of Asmon's videos today, and he was like, the stories that he was telling. Sorry. Tectone. It was Tectone put out a video today. And the stories that Tectone was telling about Mizkif within OTK, like the shit that he pulled while he was still in OTK, was basically Mizkif was just a leech. He was a parasite. He was glomming on to everyone else's good idea. So people would come up with, in OTK, would come up with good ideas, and he'd be like, well, let's do this on my stream because I need the viewers or something like that. And they would just go like, all right, Mizkif, go ahead. You can do this idea on your stream. And so he was just like leeching and parasiting off of everyone else's good idea and just was, generally speaking, just a piece of shit. Well, yeah, that's what this is. That's what this is referred to. Is that OTK reclaimed their 1 million shares from him and booted him out of OTK. And Mythic Talent is saying you also owe us $600,000 for managerial costs.
Immediately saying they support Amiru.
Yeah,
and,
Jack,
they stand
exactly.
by
Yeah,
her side,
taking credit for other people's
Mizkif
ideas.
was one of the founding members of OTK. They have terminated their relationship, and they are going to just keep moving forward. And, of course, the other parties involved with this is Mythic Talent and King Gaming Labs, which is going to be another interesting dynamic. Like I said, especially if this gets into Discovery, adding in entire organizations with some very popular streamers as well, it's gonna be a wild ride. That's for absolute sure.
Well, yeah.
But for now, that's gonna do it for this video. If there's more updates, I'll be talking about it.
I'm not
but
sure,
anyways,
Cortez. It might be
leave your thoughts about
Starforge.
today's topics in the comment section down below. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you next time.
King Gaming Labs, I think might be Starforge. Their gaming PC manufacturing company. That's what King Gaming Labs might be, because that's part of OTK. Yeah, Starforge is part of OTK, so it might be that. Oh yeah, this is gonna be so good. This is gonna be fucking hilarious. When the Discovery starts coming out, chat will be eating good when the Discovery starts coming out. We are gonna be eating so good.